Hello, everybody, and welcome back to You've Been Josh with Josh. I am your host, Josh. Oh yeah, it's a new episode, baby. We're here. We're here, and we're up early. We're up early, and we're here. Oh yes. Today's episode is not sponsored by Starbucks Coffee, the only place that you can get diabetes while also getting a caffeine high. Let's go. It's not the only place, but it does have a lot of sugar. Let's be honest. But you got to get your PSLs, your pumpkin spice lattes, because it's the season. The season's here. It's October 5th. You know, it's the holiday season, not Christmas season, but spooky season, fall season, apple season, baby. Oh yes, oh yes. Firstly, I just wanted to say thank you all for the patience for this past week. We are going to do a live episode with all my mods. However, due to the lack of time, we weren't able to get that out, so we didn't have an episode last week, but we have a guest this week, and I'm very excited to bring them on. So for this week, episode 46, we are joined by the wonderful and the only Jimfinite. Jim, how you doing, baby?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. A little tired, but you know what? We're thriving. We're thriving. We're here. We're talking. This is welcome to You've Been Joshed. I almost forgot my fucking name of the podcast. You've Been Joshed, the most scuffed podcast here on this side of the Mississippi. Because
I'm so happy to be here. I've been a long fan. I'm here. I'm ready.
I've been a short fan. Gonna be honest.
Wait, how long has the podcast been going?
This is episode 46. You are my
my God.
What is it? I think you're like my 30th guest.
This is number 46.
This is number 46.
Actually, Josh, if we could just wait a few episodes.
You want to be in number 50?
Yeah, if that's
yeah. I'm probably all right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be right back. Just wait a couple weeks. Jim will be back. And no, dude, I'm really excited to have you on. I showed you on stream when I asked you. I have a list of like people that I want to bring on because like obviously there's like there's certain people that you just know are not going to be great guests. Like not to be an asshole, but like it's true. Like there are certain people that like, if you bring them on, they're just not going to mesh well with you. And it's just going to be like this awkward hour-long experience where just like, so you like to stream? Cool. and so like I have a set list of people that I'm like, all right, I want to ask these people. I want to see what they say. Let's see. And I've had you on the list and I got through a bunch of people and I was like, all right, it's time for Jim. Let's shoot him a message, shoot me a shot. Let's see what happens. And it was just funny that like I joined in. You're like, yeah, this guy's a podcast. I'm like, hey, speaking of, would you like to be on?
100%. I'm so happy. I'm so happy I made the right lists. I'm happy I wasn't on the other list.
There is no other list. God, it's just all mental. It's a mental note. It's a very that list that's in my mind is a very short list. There's not many people who I'm just like, I don't know. But there's so many people that I've met on Twitch that it's kind of like it's gonna take a while to get through everybody that I have on the other list. Like,
that's good. That's good for you.
It's
right?
good for content, man. I got plenty of people, but goddamn, it makes me want to be like, we should do 2 episodes a week, but that's gonna be too much work. I'm not gonna do that to myself. But yeah, dude, I'm really happy that you're able to come on. I know that you got sick this past week.
I did.
How you feeling? Are you feeling better?
Oh, I feel so much better. So much better. Yeah. It's like night and day.
Dude, being sick sucks, especially this time of year. Everyone's getting sick, and then of course with COVID, it's just like everybody. As soon as the flu season hits, everyone's like, "Oh God, please!"
Right. Gotta stay safe.
Yeah, gotta stay safe. Gotta stay healthy. Make sure to be drinking water. We I don't know where you are located, but I'm in the northern East Coast. So I'm in Pennsylvania, and all of a sudden, like the last couple of weeks has been like in the 80s. It's been like really nice and sunny, and like it's been great. And then literally this past weekend, it just dropped 30 degrees, and now it's like 50 every day.
Oh, I would love that.
Which for me, it's fantastic. But my sinuses And my
Right,
fucking
yeah.
body is like, what the fuck just happened? Just
Because it was so
instantaneously.
quick.
No, it was
Yeah.
so quick. I just felt so groggy this past week. I've just been so tired. It's crazy. I don't know how the weather has been for you. You're in the southern hemisphere, right?
Yeah, I'm in and around Texas,
Mm.
and you know what? You got to be used to that like random drop in temperature.
Is
Like
it?
one day it could be, super hot.
Yeah.
Next day you might get super lucky and it might just be a little hot. And then randomly it's gonna drop in the next 2 months. It's gonna drop and be so cold.
Yeah.
But lately it's been all right. Like in the evenings, it's actually been really pleasant outside.
I think there's a misconception with Texas because I think a lot of people think of Texas and they're like cowboys. It's hot as hell. There's tumbleweeds and stuff. But like in reality, there's beaches where you can surf and there's like really cold weather during the winter. And
Yeah,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
could go and surf in Galveston, maybe. I
not
don't know
in the
if
middle of the state, but at the bottom.
I don't know if I recommend it.
You can go
Compared to
surfing on the
other
dunes.
places you could go.
Oh,
But yeah, like right now it's like 65 degrees. It's really nice. It's a nice
yeah.
morning. So, and I haven't seen a single cowboy where I grew up or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just I think a lot of people think of like Texas and Austin, Texas barbecue and stuff, and they're just like, cowboys, let's go. But like,
Right.
that's just not the case. It's just funny to me. I feel like you're more apt to see cowboys in Nashville, Tennessee, than you are in Texas.
Possibly, yeah. I would say.
I would
Unless you
assume.
go to like in and around like maybe the Longview, like East Texas
Mm,
area, you'll probably see a lot more like Southern, like with the accents and
the big
like the
hair and
ranches and
all that
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And Dr. Pepper.
Dr.
You know.
Pepper. Oh my God. I don't know if they still do this. Speaking of Dr. Pepper, this is what we call a derail moment on the podcast. Do you remember? You remember all those commercials with Dr. Pepper, the guy who would just be like, "It's sweet." Do you remember that guy who would come in, the little small dude in the commercials, and slide in and sing about
No,
Diet Dr.
my
Pepper?
mom didn't let us watch TV.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. No, you actually just you opened a memory. You opened a memory. I do remember that
Making me
actually.
feel bad about your
That's a
childhood.
Yeah. No, we were homeschooled and we actually didn't have television.
Bro, I was
Here
homeschooled.
in
Please don't.
Wait, were you actually?
Yes. No, it's okay,
I didn't
bro.
mean it.
Bro, you know what's funny is I use it as a fucking bit all the time. Everyone's like, Josh, you fucking didn't read chat right. I'm like, bro, I was homeschooled. Relax. Lay off me. Lay off me, dude.
That's funny, bro. I don't even want to say anything. I'm like, tread lightly. We don't know their curriculum.
No. I was homeschooled until I was a freshman in high school, and then I was like, Mom, Dad, please let me please social, please, and open the door and let me outside. And
like homeschool can be like one or two ways. You could be like a genius, or like
a fuckwit.
Says
I'm the latter. I'm the latter of that situation. I feel like there's three cases. It's either you're a normal guy or girl or whatever you identify as. I should just say guy. You're either just a normal person, or you're socially inept, or you're a genius. Sometimes those go together, but it's those three. And that's where the stereotypes come from. But no, there's so many different versions of homeschooling too, because like my mom is a teacher, so she has like a teaching license, and she private tutors other people, and so she just did that for us as well. So it was really fucking sick because whenever I was younger, whenever I'd wake up, there was a set amount of things I had to do, and I could just do them right away in like a 2-hour period, get it all done, and then just have the rest of the day. And like we didn't have classes or anything, but there are certain people who do homeschooling where they go and actually have like classes like once a week with other people who are homeschooled. And we did that for a little bit, but it's eh.
The only thing I'll say is that you missed out on like the Christmas time of like elementary school. which was a whole vibe, like the week of Christmas.
Oh,
I don't know if you ever see those like nostalgic compilations
no.
on like YouTube or TikTok,
You guys do
where they have
you guys
these,
like do crazy stuff?
decorating the halls with all sorts of paper to make it look like snow and trees
Damn.
and just everyone, them rolling in the television
Oh, on the
and
fucking carts.
on the carts and showing like the Polar Express or something.
Oh,
Oh man, that's what I feel for you. Because when I remember back on like elementary school and that type of thing, I don't remember like anything other than those types of classes, those types of days. But I'm sure
yeah.
your mom made it special for you. Was it just you, or did you have siblings?
I had an older sister, but she was a hermit, so I didn't see her very much during childhood. She would just hide away in her room. She was one of the other three of the for
Like Umbrella Academy vibes now. Like, what's going on over at the binge house?
We had somebody else who just lived in the attic. It wasn't even a sibling. He was just someone who came with the house.
Exactly.
And then we had a monkey, and
I was gonna say. I forgot to mention he was also a monkey.
Yeah, he was our butler.
He was tested on in the 60s.
He couldn't talk. He just, slapped his chest. But you know what? It's funny because we derailed onto Dr. Pepper and then we derailed into homeschooling. But do you remember that? Do you remember that commercial for the Dr. Pepper?
I don't remember it like perfectly, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I don't know where that guy went. And also, the thing that I'm confused about is why they chose to do that, because there's no connection to like rock and roll with Dr. Pepper at all. And they just had this random fucking little fairy guy, like this little tiny little dude that's like the size of a fairy. And he just like runs around and pops up places with Diet Dr. Pepper and sings at you. And it's like, why?
It was Diet Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, it was specifically Diet Dr. Pepper. And he would sing how sweet it is for being diet. And
it's like a commercial targeted for my mom.
And he had this long, luscious kind of like maroon hair to match the color of like the Dr. Pepper bottle. And he would just sing at you. And he was a good looking guy, but it was just very confusing as like to why they went that route with Dr. Pepper. But here we are talking about it years later. So, I mean, technically, marketing wise, they did a good job,
Give that man a promotion. Whoever made it.
10 out of 10. Whoever you are out there, you get a gold star from us. 2 little gold stars just for you. So on the podcast here, we do a couple of like shoot fire questions. Well, a little get to know you segment. There are no right or wrong answers. You just give me the first thing comes to your mind. All right. And then there's some other questions here. And then I got some serious ones and we'll just go from there. So, all right. Do you feel ready?
Yeah. Ready. I'm prepared. Let's
go.
All
right. Favorite color?
Red.
Favorite food?
Taco.
Just one. Favorite drink?
Coffee.
All right. Favorite fruit?
Pineapple.
All right. Favorite season?
Now fall season.
Favorite childhood game?
Mario 64.
Favorite current game?
Apex Legends.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Breaking Bad.
Favorite genre of music?
Hip hop. Just don't stop.
Favorite book?
The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch.
Favorite word?
More.
Favorite number?
24.
Favorite animal?
Spider monkey.
All right. What is your Hogwarts house?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. We want to say that it's Ravenclaw. I don't know how I feel about it, but
okay. Blanket or stuffed animal as a kid?
A stuffed animal.
Soft taco or shell?
Soft, of course.
Beautiful. Do you eat your Oreos whole or do you pull them apart?
I eat them every way possible, honestly. But usually I pull them apart, lick it, put it back together, eat it.
Oh. You make it arts and crafts?
Yeah.
My tongue is the glue.
You should know about that.
Toilet paper over or under?
What? Well, can you explain both to me in detail?
Yeah, if you have a toilet paper roll, all right, and you have it on the side of your wall, and you put it on the little, the hook thing. Do you have your toilet paper?
Oh, it's
rolling over. Okay,
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's the only right way.
Exactly.
If it's under, it just looks like you messed up.
Exactly. What was your first social handle?
Oh my god, it would have been for like an AM chat room. Oh man. Listen, I don't remember what that would have been, but I can tell you my first Xbox gamer tag.
All right.
And that would have been Mac Daddy, spelled MacDaddy,
Mm-hmm.
007, inspired by the great game GoldenEye 007 on Nintendo 64.
Wow. Mac Daddy 007. Wow. Well, okay, so
I'm proud of it.
What kind of bender would you be? Earth, fire, water, or air?
Air.
Air. All right. And you said your favorite fruit is pineapples. Why is it not apples?
Oh, dude, I should have known better. I should have lied and said apple, and you would have been like, "Oh, this is a great podcast. It's going well."
Yeah, pander to me, Jim. Come on, please.
Listen, I just like the, especially the green ones. Those green ones, man.
I'm standing behind you with a whip. Say the right answer, Jim.
Is that good?
Say the right answer. No. Hey, at least you got half of it right. You got apples, part of pineapples.
That's true.
You met me halfway. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. That's what I do.
You meet people halfway?
I meet people halfway.
You're the worst Uber driver ever. Do you imagine a service? We can call it Burr instead of Uber. And it's just an app where people will drive halfway to you and you have to walk the rest. Once you get there, you can, like, it's just forcing people to exercise more. Like, once you get to the car, he'll drive you wherever you want. But like, you have to meet them halfway. Yes. Well, what if the person lives really far away or there's no other drivers and they have to drive a really far distance? They're going to drive half of the far distance. You're going to have to walk the rest.
Listen, as long as I can get half of Uber's market cap with this new idea that we've gotten together, I'm happy.
As long as we can meet someone halfway on this plan.
I'm trying to meet you halfway on this idea.
That's so stupid. All right. So I got some other questions for you. Again, there's no right or wrong. All right. These are just, these are the fun little, it's the quirky ones, they're a little different.
Yeah.
Hot dogs, are they a sandwich?
Yeah. No. Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Be proud of your answer.
Wait. Here's what I'll say.
Okay.
And I know I'm spending too much time on this, but Here we go. If the bun has been cut in half or has fallen apart where like the bun is now two, it's a sandwich.
Otherwise it's a sub.
100%.
I agree.
You already knew the answer.
Yeah. See, you got it right. The art of juggling. Thoughts?
Amazing, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing to be able to do that.
I wish I could do it, honestly.
Me as well. I think that we could if we put enough practice and determination into it instead of giving up after 10 minutes.
100%. It's about dedication. I don't have that. I don't have that.
I can't apply myself.
Yeah. For this right now, this is my cap. The podcast is my cap. This is the extent of my motivation. It's 11:24 a.m. on a spring morning, and you are walking down a sidewalk towards your favorite coffee shop. Out of nowhere, a small woman appears before you. Silently, she hands you a piece of paper, a plush octopus, and a yellow frisbee. She then vanishes into thin air. Puzzled, you continue to walk, only to find that you are no longer in your quaint neighborhood, but in a vast, overgrown jungle. How do you proceed?
What kind of Narnia type Is the coffee shop still there?
No, you're in an overgrown jungle now. How do you proceed?
Frustrated at first because I didn't get my daily coffee. I would keep traveling through the bush and forests until I came across a little tiny hut, a cabin, if you will, where the most beautiful girl was with a cup of coffee. That's my imagination.
Let's fucking go. You're the first person to take one of these situationals and like add on to the story.
Yeah, it's called improv.
Everyone,
yes, and
everyone else has been like, I would be freaked out, and I'd be like, oh yeah, cool, all right. If everything you ate suddenly began to taste like pennies, would you start to only drink your food?
Oh, if I still were able to get the same nutrients through the drinking, I would just drink my food. Yeah.
Fair.
Does your food need to be like solid for it to? Can you just drink your food?
I mean,
I don't know. Can we call a doctor?
Can
we phone in a doctor?
Phone in a doctor. You want to use your line call?
I want to use my lifeline.
Yeah, your lifeline. Oh my god. Are vampires real?
I wish. That'd be really
Honestly,
cool. I would ask them to turn me.
Edward, please. You get home from a long night out. It's Friday. You deserve to treat yourself, of course. Once inside, you stumble into your room and flop on the bed. Once you've almost drifted off to the land of dreams, you hear a scratch underneath your bed. Startled, since you live alone, you pull your feet off the edges of the bed and get under the covers. All of a sudden, you hear cut. You turn to see a film crew to your left. Surprise, you're on camera. How do you proceed?
What kind of Truman Show is this? First of all, I know that this is all fake because there's no way I'm out late on a Friday night. I couldn't tell you the last time I was out doing anything late on a Friday night except for streaming. I turn over. I say, man, Miss Director, whoever you are, I was really into my zone right there. I'm a great method actor. Why'd you say cut? I was in the zone, man, for this new horror flick.
I was feeling it. Do you believe in the art of deception?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think that's just people who like to gaslight. They've mastered that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there are people out there who are
they've honed their craft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm deceiving people right now, thinking these answers are great, and I'm out here. Yeah, what's up?
Oh my gosh. If someone were to play you in your own biopic, who would you cast for yourself?
It depends on if it's a comedy or a dramedy or a drama or a horror.
It's a biopic, so it's a story about your life.
Oh man,
it's a retelling on film.
Man, that's a great one. I'm trying to think of like Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Actually, that's a pretty good one right there.
Yeah, because it makes me look a little bit, better than how I actually look.
Oh my god!
But people be like, man, that Jimfinite character, he really went through. He worked hard, stayed dedicated. Now he's on top of the world. Tom Holland's playing him. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta shoot higher than how you look. You gotta make people believe that you looked a certain way.
You ever watch a movie and you're like, oh man, that's crazy. Christian Bale played this character. That's crazy. And then you're like, Google him and you're like, what the hell? That's how he really looked like.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what I'm going for.
It's like the Warrens in The Conjuring. When I looked up what the Warrens actually looked like, I was like, oh, that doesn't look like those two actors at all.
Exactly.
That's the art of deception right there. They need to get actors that look like the people that they're portraying. You know what I'm saying? Even if it means that they're terrible at acting, they need to look exactly like them.
I don't care if the acting looks like it should be on Lifetime, as long as it looks like the real person.
Yeah, exactly. So Jim, this is the serious time. Well done with the questions. There was a lot of them. You did fantastic. Good
Great.
for you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Little pat on the back.
Star on the board. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you start streaming yourself?
I started streaming in October of 2020.
2020. That's the same time I did.
Yeah,
Look at that.
that's first of all, that's awesome. I think that probably most or a lot of people started around that time.
It was like
September,
August
October.
to November.
Yeah.
A lot of people, yeah. What is the story behind your name and your theme?
The story behind my name, there's two. It's just like, okay, it's really one. I know I'm confusing you. Let me take it back. I was wanting to make a YouTube channel for the longest time. It's been something I've always wanted to do, but I could never think of like how I wanted to do like my name.
Mhm.
So I always went back and forth between like doing like an alteration of my actual name, which is James, and trying to have it just be like my first and middle or last name or something like that, or like making up like a stage name or something. But then like I thought to myself, well, this is YouTube and some of the content I want to make, is this or that. And I was sitting and I was watching a Jacksepticeye live stream charity event at a Starbucks. And I was thinking to myself, man, I need a name that like pops, like a Jacksepticeye or a Markiplier or a PewDiePie. They all had this like hit to it, a da da da.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, okay, so there's James. Are there any nicknames for James? Yeah, sometimes people call James Jim. Is there anything I can do for Jim and play off of it? Oh, Jimfinite. So like it was purely just based on like trying to fit into like a da da da, like a name that I could have envisioned on YouTube.
Yeah.
Then I thought to myself, okay, well, can I give it any more context or anything else to strengthen the name for me other than just like, oh, if you were scrolling through YouTube, it would sound like a YouTuber name. And I was like, yeah, okay, there is actually, because, okay, Jimfinite, Playoff Infinite, which is, forever. And I thought to myself, well, I'm putting myself on the internet. I'm putting content out on YouTube or, streaming or social media under this name. And theoretically, that's going to live on forever, even after I'm not here anymore. So those were my like thoughts on the name.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I kind of did the same, kind of similar thing. For me, for like my name, since it's been Josh, I had been Josh as my name on like other socials for a really long time. Just because I thought it was funny that like my name could be used as like a joke, like, oh, you joshing you? And you fucking joshing. But in the same vein as your, like, I knew that like having like a shorter like 1-2 or 1-2-3 like syllable name, it's easier to remember than like something longer. So then I was just like, well, Ben Josh I've been using for a long time. And like, although I knew my theme was going to be apples, and Ben Josh has nothing to do with the Apple theme.
You knew it was going to be
like,
apples way back then?
Dude, I was ready to stream probably like back in like May of 2020.
Oh, wow.
But I was like really anal about it. I'm really picky with all of my shit. So like I just extended it for so long learning OBS, just being like, yeah, is this exactly how I want it? I don't know. And then finally, when I finally just pulled the trigger and did it, like it was just, I was like, oh my God, I could have started so long ago. And then now looking back at my old stuff, I'm like, God damn, it looks fucking garbage.
No, but that's the thing is that you just got to get started.
I feel like that's 100%.
People's like hardest.
As you go, you learn more about how Twitch works, how YouTube works, how all that stuff works.
It goes for everything.
Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and just put yourself out there. But yeah, dude, it's funny to see how many people like started at that time, because obviously there's a lot of people who started in the spring as well. They were a little bit ahead of the game, but I just remember like thinking of like how trends go and stuff. Like, you remember how big Animal Crossing New Horizons were right when we started?
And like I got everyone
the game was, everyone was playing it during COVID and like the lockdown. And then now it's like, I know there's a couple people who still play it, and they've actually grown a lot because of them playing it, but it's just, I don't see it anymore. It's just crazy. Like those things that like everyone was playing, it's just like,
it was such a like a good timed game.
Oh, yeah,
because it's like a comfort game.
Yeah, It couldn't have come out at a better time. And the thing is, they didn't plan around like COVID happening. But like, yeah, it's just there was like, did you have a lockdown game? Was there a game that you played during lockdown that now just means a lot to you because of how much you played it at that time?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, well, I can say when lockdown first happens, the game that I ended up going to first, which was actually a big surprise to me, was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the one that had like come out in 2019, I think. And that was surprising to me because like I don't know why I even downloaded it. I didn't even own it. But I was seeing people play, and I was like, man, it might be fun to jump back in like a lobby like it used to be in old days, and it's like a quick game, get in and get out type of thing.
Yeah.
And I played that game, team deathmatch, hardcore or just regular, so much in and around my work schedule, working remote. And it helped me. I remember just like planning my day around like I never once in the past woke up in the morning to play Call of Duty, except for in quarantine because there was nothing to do.
Yeah.
And then Halo Master Chief Collection. I went through all of that and all of my old Halo games because I used to be a huge Halo fan. I loved Halo. Doom was another one. Those were like the games I played completely by myself or in like matchmaking lobbies. They were the last few games I played before streaming. And now I don't play any games alone.
Yeah, I was going to say now I the only time I normally play games is on stream, and if it is something off stream, it's something multiplayer that I play with other people.
Exactly. What did you have one?
Yeah, I worked at Starbucks. We were talking about this a little bit before we started the podcast, but we worked really far into lockdown because of being in like the food service. Like it was one of the like emergency places that like they wanted to keep open for, first responders and stuff. And so we worked really far into everyone being like shut down and like people already in lockdown. And like even my wife was she worked in a pharmaceutical company, so even they were working as well. And we didn't have our like time off from work until like it was like really bad. Like, you know how like there was that second wave and like it everyone was already kind of in lockdown or off from work, and then that second wave hit, and then like everyone was off, like everything was closed.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's when I like was off for work, and we were off for like 3 months. We were like I was at home for like 3 months for that point. And during that time, because it was 3 months of literally like waking up, doing nothing, waking up, doing nothing. I put like, I think I want to put like 400 hours of No Man's Sky, Minecraft, and Destiny 2 with my friend who also worked at Starbucks, so he had the same amount of time off. And we played that together. And then I'm really into like trophy hunting and stuff, so I started playing games that I knew I didn't normally have time for, like longer RPG type games. And I played Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey back to back. And those are pretty long games, but they're two games that like, because of how much time I could put into it and without any uninterrupted like space, the stories are so ingrained in my mind because I remember them so vividly. And so both of those games, the stories, like and like when you like hear the music of a game, you're just like, it sends you right back to that spot. Those games. Sure. Those two games are like the big ones for me. Like I hear the music and I'm like, oh, I want to play that so badly.
Now, before that, were you still playing games regularly, or was this like a comeback for Josh into the gaming world?
So I played video games a lot before then, but that really set me off for like trophy hunting for the most part, because I had PlayStation growing up. Like my first console was a PS2 when I was like 13. My grandpa gave me one, and I played like Cars and fucking Star Wars, Lego. Like the universe of those. And
those are great.
They're fucking fantastic. And those were the ones that I used to play, and it I played frequently, but I kind of was doing other things as a kid, and then I
Like
had
being homeschooled.
like
Yeah.
being homeschooled. I did theater. I was a theater kid. Um,
Hey, that's awesome, actually.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, but like that took up most of my time, so I didn't play many video games. And then it was like in high school that I got a PS3, and like I was really behind. Like they were the PS4 was already out, and I got a PS3, and I was playing games on that. And then when I turned 18, I got a PS4, and that was right like it was like 6 months after Marvel's Spider-Man came out, and I was like really excited to play that because I love Spider-Man, and I played the shit out of that, and I got the platinum on it, and that's where I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know trophies existed because I was so behind on like the PS4, PS3 because trophy came out on the PS3, and so I started doing all the achievements on all the games that I was playing, and it kind of just took off. But during COVID, which was like obviously like a couple years later after that, I like really started playing more games and going after the achievements because of all the time that I had, and it just set me off on this like I need to get 100% on every single game that I play, and
Right.
I've kind of weaned off of that because it's really hard to play games with that mindset. But yeah, COVID really set off my like, oh, I really want to play video games more. I really like them, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of them. Like I already knew that, but like I wanted to do it more, and that's when I was looking to get out of Starbucks because of just fucking retail is dog shit. And I was like, I want to do something for myself, and then I was looking into streaming, and in that next year, I was like, all right, we're gonna do it, and I got a PC and did all that jazz, and then here we are, boom, boom, boom.
I love it. That's perfect.
What about you? Did you play a lot of video games before COVID?
So I had taken like a break.
Yeah.
Like even like I didn't even realize that I wasn't playing, the games like I had once before. Because I grew up with siblings and we had all the consoles from your, Sega Genesis to your Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and the OG Xbox 361, the PS2, the PS3. I remember when I got my PS3, it was the first time I ever got a console like that was my own instead of having to share it with my brother. It was such a cool experience, and then playing Mirror's Edge on it was so much fun. And then with the Xbox, I was so addicted to Halo 2 and 3 and Reach, and I loved them so much. And then like after Reach and what other games were coming out around the Reach time period, I kind of had to take a step back from gaming, I think, to focus on like school and work and relationships and that type of thing. And I would game, but just very, very rarely,
Yeah.
would I find time to sit down and legitimately play a game. And it was never a campaign. It was more of a like matchmaking, just jump in, play, and then be done with it as
Yeah.
quick as possible. And then like something happened. I had like a this is interesting. I haven't thought about this. I had like an interesting relationship come to an end abruptly. It was just like a breakup,
Yeah.
and I found myself kind of like, oh, what is gym like? Like I don't know. I have so much free time now and to explore and think about what I want to do. And this must have been in like 2015, and that's when I like remembered like, oh, I love YouTube. I always wanted to do a YouTube channel, and I remembered, oh, I love games. I loved games so much growing up, and I went out and I downloaded or I bought from a GameStop Drake's Uncharted 4. It had like come out around the time,
Mhm.
and I completely played that game all the way through and through. And I was like, oh my god, this is where gaming is right now. This was beautiful. Naughty Dog hitting it out the park.
Yeah.
And then, so ever since then, I was like slowly dipping my toes back into gaming. And then with this, with quarantine, it was a full on cannonball splash. And now I own more games now than I ever have. I
Yeah.
didn't even know what Steam was
Yeah.
until 2020. All these people were like, bro, just download Steam, stop buying games off PlayStation. And I was like, oh, you're right,
It's funny because I think a lot of people had that realization because like I just like you were saying, I played games when I was younger, but it was just kind of like for fun. And then like life got in the way, and I was doing a bunch of other things in school and whatnot. But then like I bought a PS4 for myself, and because I wanted to play the Spider-Man game, and I hadn't played video games in a while, so playing that new Spider-Man game on PS4, like the quality of the game and like the graphics, I was just like, holy fuck, like
Blown
this is
away.
crazy how far we've come already. And like then the PS5 came out, and like just I mean just in Steam in general, like all the new games like Project Calypso and was it all of like the Quarry and stuff, just like the graphics of games has advanced so much that it's like looking back 10 years ago when I was playing all of those other old games, like it's crazy. Like I can't imagine what it's gonna be like in 10 years from now, you know. But I think it's funny that you said that because like Spider-Man was like my coming back to games, and like I was blown away by the graphics as well. I was just like, oh my god, like wow, we've come a long way.
I'm sure that game. It's interesting as it's funny that we both came to like PlayStation games coming back. I wonder why that is. But also that game must have a special place in your heart than the
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man game.
I've played that game all the way through on the hardest difficulty, which isn't that hard. Um, with New Game Plus like about 8 times.
Oh
I
wow!
have I have two platinums. I have the PS4 platinum and the PS5 platinum on both.
I
I
didn't even
fucking love
realize
that
you could
game.
get different platinums for the
Yeah.
consoles.
So for consoles now with the PS5, they when you buy a game, because the two consoles are still active, they have two different versions. One with like better quality, like pro versions, which is the PS5, and then they have PS4 version. But if you have a PS5, you can get both versions when you buy one game. So you can technically play the game twice on both versions and get the achievements over again. So there's two different trophy lists. So some games you can play all the way through a second time and do the achievements, so you can get it twice. And so that's what I did for Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I'm working on Assassin's Creed Valhalla on that as well. And there's a lot of games that have double platinums now, but you have to you have to play through the entire game over again to get it.
Right.
But it's kind of nice though because I'll play one version, and then like in 6 months time I'll be like, man, I really want to play that game again. And I'm like, oh, wait, I can play the other version and get the platinum, and I'll play it over again and enjoy the game a second time. And it's kind
And
of
you're
nice.
getting, yeah, like you said, and you're
And
getting
you're
the
getting the
trophies
achievements.
again.
Yeah.
So it feels better. Yeah.
Yeah. You get a little bit of motivation, you know?
Yeah, it makes you feel enough.
Yeah. Makes me feel something. Finally. I'm empty inside, Jim. So what's your favorite part about streaming? Because you've been streaming for a while now. Dude, I love your setup so much. I don't know how I found you. I think it was recommended. I think it was just a pure like one of those recommended by chance
Oh yeah,
things.
for sure. It's something me and Twitch have worked out together. It's just always putting me on recommended for everyone.
It's just always there. You're just sliding them 20s every month.
Yeah.
Um,
Here, Twitch, here. You can take 50% of my subs.
and
if
here's
you
an
just
extra
put me
20.
on recommended.
Um, no, but I joined your stream, and like I had never seen that pivot tool, the one where you can transform a source where it turns, like you can change
Yeah.
and it was transparent, and I had never even thought of that before, and I was just like, wow, this looks so fucking clean, and then your camera and the lights and stuff, it just looked like a fucking studio, and I was just like, man, this is so aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I'm already down to watch. And then like I was watching you play games, and I personally don't like horror video games, but I love watching them. Like I can't play them myself. Like
That's a
if I
lot
play
of
them
people. I
myself,
hear
yeah.
that all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I play them myself, I fucking shit my pants.
Right.
It's the feeling of knowing they're behind you and you're
Yeah,
running,
yeah.
and you're controlling the characters, so you feel connected, and I can't do that. Like if I love watching horror movies, and like I know I'm safe on my couch, so I can enjoy the horror and get scared and be fine. But like if I feel I'm in the situation, like fuck that. But I like watching it, so like it's really nice when I can catch your streams and stuff. because I get to watch horror stuff that I normally don't get to partake in.
Right.
But no, I think you have a great setup. I love the name. I love your stuff that you got going on, and your community is very, very fucking nice.
Oh, dude, thank you. Okay, keep going. This
Well,
is
no,
great.
like it's one of those things where it's like when you go to
like the
someplace,
hype.
it's very like you never know how the community's gonna be because a lot of people get a lot of trolls that are like constant viewers, but they're just there to like be obnoxious and stuff. Or there's people who are like really gatekeepy over who's watching. And
Yeah.
whenever I join in, everyone's always like, "Hey, what's up? What's up? How you doing?" Oh, what's up? And yeah,
We've gotten really lucky with the community that we have. I would say, like, I'm so fortunate, and I have so much gratitude towards the people who have been there for so long. That's not to say like we haven't had our fair share of like maybe a troll or a gatekeeper or that type of thing, but we work through it, and I feel like the community in of itself is like strong enough to overcome anything like that.
yeah,
But no, definitely thankful. I mean, I wouldn't stream without the people who show up.
yeah,
Obviously, they're the reason why I play the games. The like playing with, my friends and the community that pop in. It's the best thing in the world. That's why I stream like every other day. I
yeah.
look forward to it. They help me with the game. There are some games I would have never figured out like where to go or how to progress. I would have had to like Google or just be like, forget this, man. I'm
Yeah.
going back to Apex or something, right? But these people, they love the game so much, or they've played it themselves, and it's just so much fun for to like play someone's favorite game for the first time, and they get to relive it and help you out at the same time.
It's a cool
So
experience.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think there's anything like that because of interaction. Like with YouTube, like I remember growing up, I watched a lot of Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, and stuff like that. And
naturally, yeah,
when I watched like their playthroughs, you play through the entire game. Like I remember watching Jacksepticeye play through all of the Uncharted games. It was
oh
before
yeah,
I had the PS3, so I couldn't play it, and so I would just watch him play it on YouTube.
hmm
And so I watched the entirety of the entire game all the way through all of the games, but I never played it myself. But like you can't like chat while you're doing that because you're watching someone already played it. You're just watching it as like a movie. And
right.
so being able to do that, but then also get the interaction while you're doing it, there's nothing like it. It's pretty fucking cool.
And that, like what you just mentioned, is like a testament to how talented people like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier and even PewDiePie when he used to do the playthroughs were
Yeah.
making it feel like you're there in real time with them as they play the game and feeling that connection and whatnot. Because I used to put up like a Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie like let's play while doing something or being in my room, and it was just so comforting to have
Oh yeah.
one of them playing the game.
They're edited well, and also
Oh yeah,
being
their editors
able
are great,
oh,
right?
so good. Being able to entertain someone for three plus hours for a video that's like in multiple sections and retain them for all like 5 videos of that one game is
Yeah,
hard to do. Like it's really hard to do. Obviously,
especially
because of their
now.
status, obviously a lot of people would stay because they know them. Like obviously, I still watch PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye and Markiplier, and I still watch them. So like, obviously, like you get like returning viewers after a certain point because of how long you've been watching them. But like,
100%.
getting that new person to stay and watch is hard to do. So it's interesting. Um, did I ask you what your favorite part about streaming is?
No, yeah, no, you did.
I did. Okay.
My favorite part of streaming, I think I kind of touched on it just a little bit. It's the chat,
Yeah.
100%. There's nothing to because I can play the game on my own if I wanted to. The game's always going to be there, but it's the chat, 100%.
Yeah.
The games are dramatically more enjoyable for me with chat. There are some games I look at now, like actually, I think it's my first thought is, how is this going to be on stream, this game? And when I say that, I don't mean like, is this game going to be successful or my viewers going to
Yeah.
go up or blah, blah, blah. No, I mean like, how is this game going to be playing with chat, playing with the people I know who pop in every time I
Exactly.
go live? What are they going to think about it? Was this one they recommended? But definitely chat, 100%. And I
Yeah.
know I'm supposed to say that too, so I'm happy that I feel that way.
Well,
Like
and that's the thing.
genuinely.
It's like I feel the fact that like people are like, oh, you know, like that should be your thing. It's like, well, yeah, but if you're playing games to only appease chat and you're not having fun with it, then what's the point? You know, you
Right.
got to have fun with it too. So, like, I know a lot of people will look at the analytic like websites like the Twitch tracker and stuff like that to see, like Sully Gnome to see what the popular games are of right now. But I've never used that because it's like those
And the numbers
trends
are
always,
skewed.
yeah, the trends go so quickly, just like we were talking about with Animal Crossing. But then also you want to enjoy the games you want to play. And there's been some times where I've gone back to games that are really old and a lot of people show up because they like the nostalgia of watching someone play something for the first time. And so it's just you got to play what you like, you got to play what you think that the chat will like and you will like at the same time. And um
Right.
I think that's just something you have to like figure out what works for you, what kind of games you want to play. Because I play a lot of indie games, so they're normally
Likewise.
like 2 hour things. So it's nice for chat too, because we talk in the beginning, then you play like a 2 hour game that you get the entire experience in one little bit, and then you can go back and just chat for a little bit, and it's just the perfect for like streams because if someone misses one stream, they don't feel like they missed a section of the game. They've seen it all in
Right.
one stream. Boom, done.
Now that can also be hard too, right? Because now you are playing indie games, which are incredibly searchable
Oh yeah,
on a platform like Twitch.
yeah.
So I've run into that issue because I love indie games so much. The indie horror scene is great. Itch.io downloading games from little indie developers who might not even charge for their game. I love it so much. But to put that, there's no category for a lot of those indie games. Sometimes you just have to put it on games and demos or something like that. So it can kind of make it tough as well, I've noticed. However, Twitch has allowed you to add your own tags. So now you can type in horror or type in indie and type in those things and
Those are
hopefully bring
great.
in a few people. Yeah, I've brought in a few people just from the horror tag.
Can you
I was like,
did
hey, how'd
you
you find me?
have you gone and like looked in your analytics to see the tags like what tags work to bring people in?
I haven't actually. I always ask when someone comes through in
Yeah.
real time. We're like, hey, how'd you find the stream? Because I am interested at this point in time, like how people are finding my
Yeah.
channel when there's so many channels on Twitch now.
Yeah.
And did you know there's like over how many was it? It's either 30 or
Dude,
I think it's 30,000
it's
partners.
yeah, there's a lot. Well, if you think about it, I went and looked on one of those websites that we were just talking about. And I remember the first time I went there, I was like, "Oh my god," because on your profile when you go and look, it shows like where your ranking is on Twitch like for viewers and like all those different things and like your averages like where you land.
Oh, it's such a
And
dangerous thing to look into.
yeah, and that's why I don't like to look at it. And that's why the first time I did, I was like, oh my God, because it shows you what, you know, how people are like, oh, I'm in the top 0.01 on OnlyFans. Like, you know, like I'm the
Yeah,
top grossing. I'm top 1.15% of Twitch. But that makes
right.
you think like, okay, my average is normally 20. So that means that on people who stream to under 20 people is the other 99% of Twitch.
Yep.
That's so many people.
Yeah,
Like you think
there's
about it, you're
over a
like,
million affiliates.
yeah, like that's
But
crazy.
you're
So
you're
like,
one of a million.
yeah, and so that number means nothing really, because like, yeah, it might look cool, but it's not actually like 100% validating, you know?
Right.
Um,
Do you feel that you need validation from the analytics, or
oh
do you
fuck
feel that you get
no.
validation somewhere else?
I get validation from people showing up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like obviously you're gonna have bad days. Um, I like personally like, you know, I suffer from my own stuff mentally, but like with this being my job, like I do worry sometimes about if I'm doing enough because of like just making profit. Like I got to make sure I pay my bills and stuff. And
Oh, that's a natural thought for sure.
yeah, and there's always people who leave, and you see followers like drop, like your followers drop and stuff like that, and you're just like, oh
Hmm.
crap. But like, you just gotta push forward and like know that it's not you. Like that's the thing. I like to keep the mindset. It was someone, I think it was Jay Schlatt who said this. It was like, I want people to come watch me as a TV show. If they stop enjoying the TV show, there's other TV shows to watch, and that's okay. You know.
Yeah.
Like people are gonna go. People are not gonna be entertained anymore. That's fine. You just got to prep yourself for that. Um, but
It's okay until you get canceled by the network. Yeah. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
do you fucking banned? But yeah, no, it's. I think it's easier said than done to be like, oh yeah, no, it doesn't affect me. But it does every once in a while.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
got to be honest with
normal.
yourself.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's normal. What about you? How do you feel about your Twitch experience and everything?
I think that I've had ups and downs for sure, just like everyone else. I think
Yeah.
Twitch is a roller coaster ride, 100%. And like initially when I started, my roller coaster was up, 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 up. And I think that a lot of people have that same ride. It's just up, 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 up. And then I think comes a point where you hit kind of a plateau, and it's whether or not you're going to break through that brick wall that you're going to continue on, or if you're going to stop. Because I know tons of streamers that started around the time I did who were making so much momentum. They were right there where I was. Their numbers dropped. They plateaued. They weren't getting as many followers, and they stopped. They did a couple of redesigns, a couple of rebrandings, and then they finally stopped.
Yeah.
Which was sad to see. Because it's just the roller coaster can be hard. The lulls, the downs, they are equally as impactful as the highs.
Yep.
And whether or not you can mentally see yourself through it, that's going to be up to you and your resiliency. Because there have been times where I've like gotten off stream. I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And then I have to remember, well, hold on a second. Like there could be a lot of different reasons. It could be, yeah, Jim, you're not, innovating the stream, or your energy wasn't there today, or you've played this game already so many times, or your gameplay wasn't great, or your commentary wasn't great, or you're not doing this right. Or it could also be, the quarantine's over. People are out and about again, or people are streaming themselves now because
Yep.
they're inspired by watching you stream. Now they want to stream, or they found another channel, another community where they feel more at home at, which is completely okay. There's so many variables in this thing.
Yeah.
So to just let that eat at you for so long, that's not the way to do it. The best thing to do is just to say, what can I do? You know what it is? Just to like take a step back. What I usually ask myself is, would I watch my own stream? And if the answer is no, then I know I need to do something and make a change. If the answer is yes, then I'm happy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%.
Sometimes I will say no to that. I'll say, no, I wouldn't have watched this stream. I think I was in a mood today. I think I got frustrated at the game, or I think I was annoyed by this in chat, or whatever it could be, 100 variables.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just being honest with yourself instead of making every excuse in the book.
Oh yeah, 100%. I also think that just Twitch in general, or any kind of social media, because of how much falls on the person's shoulders, like having a mental fortitude is like so important. Like if you're not mentally checked in, most of the time it's probably not the best thing for you, because there are so many little things, like you're saying, that can happen that are totally out of your control, but it's something that you have to just learn to overcome and be optimistic about. But then also just being able to, like, all right, I'm gonna stream, then I'm gonna hang out with my community. I'm also gonna be making all these new things for OBS and these commands. I'm also gonna be working on like new merch designs, and then also I'm gonna be posting clips and editing stuff. There's just so much to it that,
Yeah,
like, if you don't
you're a
have,
whole entire production team.
yeah, if you
Usually there's
don't
a team behind this when there's like a
exactly, but
TV
it's
show,
you. It's you, and that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
it's like, if you don't have the mental fortitude for that, then like just do it for fun. Don't try to take it seriously. And
And
there's
some
nothing
people
wrong with
do,
that.
right? Some people
Yeah.
decide I'm streaming, but just for my friends, just to have fun. You've rated tons of people, I'm sure, just like I have. And sometimes we'll rate someone, and you can tell, oh, this person's just hanging out with their friends.
Yeah.
They're not trying to grow. They didn't even, they weren't there, hey, thanks for the raid, Jim. And that's it. And they move on because they're not like looking to keep the people there. They're looking just to have a good time. They go live because they're playing the game anyway, type of thing.
Yeah. And that's the I think is really interesting because I feel like you need to have that mentality, but at the same time being professional while doing it.
Professionalism, that's a huge thing, I
You
think.
know? Because like
Keeping
if
yourself accountable
oh yeah.
and being like respectful of times. I know for sure my time management took a huge hit because I'm always like, okay, I did my job today. I have a 9 to 5, that I work remote. Okay, now I need to have some time to make some changes on OBS or Discord or this or that. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's already time to stream.
Yeah.
Time management is such
It's
a huge
hard.
key to this. Like you probably know, you're editing videos, you're editing podcasts, you're streaming, you're making assets. So much time that you have to dedicate to this that is off of actually being alive that you
Yeah.
have to manage. And I
Plus
think
plus
that hurts a lot of
real life
people.
stuff too.
And real life stuff, I'm not
Like
even talking about your
yeah,
wife.
yeah.
Your poor
my wife, my dog, you have
going out with
it's
your
just like
dog.
we
Your
got
dog's
so
just
many
at
little
your
things.
feet. What
No, he
about me?
normally sleeps right next to my desk while I'm streaming,
Oh,
but no, like that's the thing, like there's so many different variables to Twitch. It's just you need to have if you want to do it seriously and you want to make something of it, which I feel like a lot of people do, like you just got to prep yourself that it's not going to be easy. And there's so much more that I could do. And it's like I think for me is that there's a big portion of my brain that's like, wow, Josh, you're not doing enough because of the fact that like I don't work a 9 to 5 job. This is my full-time job. So if I'm not doing all of it all the time, then I'm a piece of shit because I'm squandering this opportunity that I have that a lot of people don't get to have. You know? Because people are like, oh,
I
if
think that's a
only
natural thought.
yeah, because everyone's like, oh, if only I didn't have a 9 to 5 job, I would be editing, I'd be doing all these things. And I'm like, bro,
Well, they
I've
say
been,
that.
yeah,
They
I was
say
like,
that, but you
I
don't know
said that.
that.
I fucking said
Yeah.
that. And I went full time. And I mean, obviously I do more than I did before, but like with having my wife and wanting to spend time with her while also trying to hang out with the community, while also being able to see stuff with my friends who are streaming and go hang out with them on top of all the other stuff that I need to get done. Like, and then just having some time for you, just being like yesterday, I
Wait,
was
what is
editing
that?
so long.
What is
Yeah.
time
What
for
is that?
yourself?
Just going to sit down on the couch, pop on your favorite TV show, watch like 1 or 2 episodes. Like you need to have that time, otherwise you will burn yourself the fuck out. And so what I told myself, and this is what I think everyone should do, is if you're gonna do something like this and you have the time, make sure to just tell yourself one thing at a time. If you're not used to doing all of this at once, add things in gradually. So like when I first went full time, I was like, all right, this is my schedule. It's always been the schedule. I'm going to keep the same schedule. So there's no differentiation. Boom, done. But I'm going to add into that a podcast. Boom. That's one other extra thing that I've never done before. So then I did that for a couple months. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing movie nights. Boom. Another thing added to my schedule. We started doing that a couple months. Add another thing until you get used to having all those things at once. Because if you try to do everything at once, you're just going to burn yourself out and you're going to be like, this is way too much for me to handle, because you're not used to that all at once. And so like
Right.
just now, I've been streaming for almost 2 years now, and I've been full time a year and like 4 months or something like that. I'm just now starting to edit clips and start to post frequently on social media. It's been a year and 4 months, Jim. But like that's the thing, like it's easier said than done, but like once you get there, and then you can continue on. And I think that's it, people need to like, I think people have a fake viewpoint, like there's a facade over social media and how people perceive that of like, oh, it's not that hard. If I had the time, I'd do it all. But it's like when you're put into that situation, it's a lot different than what you expect it to be. Like that's why I have so much respect or PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, who would make daily uploads with themselves editing it, you know?
Hold the phone. It wasn't just daily uploads. It was 2 videos a day.
But like that's the thing,
2.
they were editing them themselves. Like that's fucking nuts. I cannot imagine that. And
that just shows like hard work, man. If you can work harder than others, then you're gonna reap the benefit of it. It's like compounded interests in the bank, you know?
100%.
The rewards build so much faster if you can really just put in that hard work. And that hard work isn't even just like more hours, it's working more efficiently, it's being more able, like learning the fundamentals, and all that can even make you happier. Like that hard work can actually pay off, and you'll be happier once it's all put into place. So 100%. And something that you said that I had to learn the hard way was like it doesn't all have to be done at once, you know. It's you can do little installments of the things you want to improve on. Like there have been times where I was like, I gotta redo the entire Discord, the entire thing, you know. No, dude, that's insane. That's
a
so
lot of
much work. Your mind's going to be split up like across so many different things. You're still streaming, you're still working. Just choose one thing, improve it. When you finish it, you're going to feel great. Now move on to the next small thing. Setting up the small goals, a checklist. Yeah. So I 100% on the same page.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's a dream of mine to be able to like somehow make a sustainable living, at least as much as I'm making now, through, you know, all these different platforms, you know, whether, you know, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it may be. It would be a dream to do it full time. So I'm in awe of you. But I'm glad it sounds so great to me that you're aware of like the position you have to spend full time on this, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to take for granted the opportunity I have. Like, obviously, I'm not making a lot of money, and like,
it's
thanks
hard.
to my
It's
fucking
hard.
wife for having her job that she has, that we can like sustain ourselves. But like, we're living paycheck to paycheck. We're not like getting steaks every night and stuff. We're like eating ramen and fucking eggs with rice. You know, it's not like it's high class living, but you know, like we make do, and she knows that it makes me happy, so like we do it. You know, and it works, and I'm fine with it. I'm content. I'm happy. I'm having a good time. And that's the important part. So like, although sometimes it does get to me of like, oh, like I know people are judging me because of I haven't posted on TikTok in a while, or I haven't done this, or I haven't hung on the Discord in a while and stuff like that. Like, I just try to push that down and be like, hey, listen, like you're doing a lot. Don't put you hard on yourself, you know. But then there are going to be bad days, but I think everybody has those. So, you know,
this is true.
But anyway, Jim, we've been chatting about Twitch for a while. Let's get into some nit grit. Let's get into some like more upbeat kind of stuff. We got serious. You like coffee, man? Talk to me about your love of coffee. Where did that come from? Have you worked at any coffee shops? Like, what's the deal?
No, never worked at coffee shops. But I'll tell you where it started. My dad loved coffee so much.
Yeah.
So like it was reinforced as a kid, right? And I would say like most kids, my first drink that involved coffee was like frappuccinos and this and that, right?
Yeah.
However, the first time I really had a coffee that I would say like that was my first cup of coffee was when I was in high school. I was in theater as well. And we were in Lincoln, Nebraska for a huge theater convention of like all these different schools. And we were there to perform just like everyone else was, with all these different contests and stuff. And this friend of mine, someone who was in the ensemble, who was on our troupe, our acting troupe, his name was John. And it was early one morning, and we were at the hotel, and they had the Starbucks at the hotel, and he was getting a coffee. And I was like, whoa, I want to get a coffee too. I grabbed a coffee, and I was like, John, what do I do with this? And I was just copying everything he did, you know, creamer, a little sugar, a little this, a little that. It was just black coffee, like Pike's Roast.
Yeah.
And I took a sip, and my life has never been the same. It's never been the same. So I literally today, I have probably 3, 4, 5 coffees a day.
Jesus
which is just
Christ.
normal. It's just water to me. And I drink a ton of water too. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Yeah.
very healthy, hydrated boy. But I have to have the coffee. There's just something about it that just puts me in the zone to create, to work, to get my mind going, to get me talkative, to just.
Yeah.
It's great when I sit down to edit on Premiere. It's great when I sit down to stream. It's great when I sit down to sit down. Just have to have it.
Fair. It's good, man. None of my parents drink coffee, but my grandparents do. And so like the first time I had someone was at my grandparents' house when I was younger. And I was just like, ooh, I want to have a cup. And I was like, this is really gross. And it was like black coffee. And so then I tried like a little cream, a little sugar, got a little better, you know. I was like, this is actually really tasty. And then like, of course, at like church, they would always have like the hot cocoa packets with like the big toddy of like coffee.
Yes.
So you mix those together. You have like you get like a dirty hot chocolate, you know.
Right.
And then I started like as I got older, I was like, well, I want to try latte, and then I was trying to like cappuccinos and this.
I want to try latte.
Yeah, like the different things you learn what they are, and you're like, this is really good. And I don't know if we've talked about this before, but out of high school, instead of, because I was going to do theater, I want to talk to you about theater, by the way, because I didn't know that you were like you were a theater kid as well. There's a lot of theater people on Twitch, I found, like, but like you wouldn't think they are, but they were, and it's just kind of funny to me.
Well, you know, theater kids have to find a way to feed their attention needing
fucking ego.
So. Exactly.
But I went into food service. Like I opened a juice bar, and that was like my senior project, but then also what I wanted to do as work. So I opened a juice bar, and we did like coffee roasts from a local place, and that's when I started to like really focus on like, oh, like what kind of coffee can I do with like, ooh, French presses, pour overs. What are all these? Like these are fancy schmancy. And then after I closed the place and a couple of years down the line, I had the opportunity to work at Starbucks, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to try it. And that's when I actually like learned how to do all the different drinks and steam milk and all that stuff.
Right.
But
yeah, makes sense.
Now I never want to work at Starbucks again.
I don't blame you.
But I have those skills. Thing. Yeah, I had skills now.
Yeah, now you get your own espresso machine, you know, at home. Exactly. Eventually, maybe you have one. Do you have one, like a personal?
I wish.
Eventually, I'm sure you will, and you'll get like what is the one that everyone always gets? It's like a dual boiler. Like by Breville or something.
Yeah, they have some. They have some relatively cheap ones that you can get.
Right.
But yeah, eventually I'd like to get it. Coffee's amazing. Coffee's really, really good. You didn't hear the intro, but I always do a not sponsor of the episode because we don't have any sponsors. But I just use a random thing that I've been thinking about and say how weird they are. But I said that today's not sponsor was Starbucks, the only place that you can get diabetes while also getting high on caffeine.
Yeah, Josh, I'm gonna be honest with you. I heard bits and pieces of your intro. I don't know how, but
you heard it.
You were coming in and out during the intro, and I was just like,
Oh, you could hear it? Okay, perfect. Well, there you go.
Parts of it, yeah.
Perfect. Then you already heard it. Yeah, it's coffee's good. I enjoy coffee. I at one point I was working overnights, and I really got into energy drinks. And I've weaned myself off of them.
Yeah.
And now
I worked at a Best Buy, and I got addicted to some Monsters and Red Bulls.
Yeah.
And here was my diet back in the day. It was Monster energy drink and gummy lifesavers when I worked at Best Buy because they cost me absolutely nothing with the Best Buy discount. It was like $1, you know. It was so bad, but just like you, whenever there was a truck night or something coming through, I thought to myself, well, I have to have it. It's a late night, you know?
Yeah. You make excuses to feed your addictions.
Then I went to Apple, and when we did overnights there, it's like a step up. So we all graduated from Monster drinks to Starbucks coffee.
Oh.
I made friends with my baristas, by the way. I would have been a good customer. You would have liked me.
You would have been a good customer. That's the thing. There was a couple of customers that would come in. They were like regulars that were nice. But then you get those other regulars that are just fucking atrocious. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to spend a lot of time work because I work remote.
mm,
Before quarantine, I would sometimes go to a couple of different coffee shops, and one or two of those were Starbucks, just because I like to work there and they made my coffee nice. And even sometimes would hook me up with free refills here or there, or even just hook me up with the coffee in general,
yeah.
which was great.
I don't
But
know what it is about working in a coffee shop, but I always get more work done if I'm out at a coffee shop sitting
100%. 100%. It was so nice. I don't do it anymore because I'm nervous, but
there.
100% I used to do it. And the baristas, man, bless their heart. I would see so many interesting customers, and I knew exactly what they were going through because I had worked retail before. So
Yeah.
that's why I had like once you work the retail or a job like customer facing, and where you have to put on a shirt or something, or, an apron in your case, it kind of like takes you out of like, I don't know, being respected for some people. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is sometimes. So I had a soft spot in my heart for all the baristas. I was like, take your time. Take your time, make the drink. It's okay. Oh, I know. I know about these guys. Oh, no, no, no worries. Hey, Will, my coffee kind of came out weird. Do you think you could, you know, super sweet, Jim.
Su- Super sweet, Jim. So what's your experience with theater, dude? Like, what did you do a lot of shows in high school and stuff?
Oh my God. I love theater. I've loved theater for so long. Even when I didn't know I love theater, I would be playing with like my action figures, and technically it would be like a little show, It would be like Tony Stark Iron Man action figure friggin' going out with fucking a G.I. Joe or something. But I did theater in middle school. It was my first time doing theater. And then I graduated to high school, and at first I did sports. I was on the basketball team, and then there was like some weird thing that happened with our basketball team, where just people just started quitting. There wasn't like an event or anything that happened. Just people just started quitting the basketball team, and
Yeah.
I was one of those people. I said, okay, I guess I'm done with basketball since these people aren't going to be on the team anymore. So when that happened, I naturally went into, I chose a theater class. I was like, this will be fun. I'll do theater. And for my public high school, there were like three different types of theater. There's the first theater that you go into that everyone has to go into if you're doing like an elective. You can do like
Mhm.
theater, art, or whatever. And then you can do like theater two, or if you get chosen, you can do like the quote unquote varsity theater, which we called it encore. And after I did my theater one, I went into theater two. And from theater two, they were like, yeah, let's bring you into encore. I auditioned for it, and they thought I was, I fit somewhere for their ensemble. They needed someone like me with whoever else they had. So I fit that puzzle piece. And I did a lot of good plays, plays I had never heard of, because I didn't really go and look for plays until then. And I didn't realize it, but I loved it. I loved staying late at the theater. I loved the rehearsals. I loved being there with the ensemble and going through script and doing script work. I loved, uh, we that's where I fell in love with coffee, and that's where I fell in love with, acting and all that. I even did like theater camps during the summer. I did
Damn.
theater in college. Um, some of the plays I did were Cat on a Hot Tin Roof by Tennessee Williams. I got to play Brick.
Oh shit.
Um, that was in
Damn.
college. It was phenomenal. I was shirtless on stage with a cast. It was great, like a cast on my leg, because Brick has a hurt leg from a silly accident he had while trying to, you know, be athletic while drunk, because he had an issue, because he had a secret. Great play if you've never seen it. I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Um, if
Good show.
people have never seen the movie, a great movie with Paul Newman. He was great as Brick. Um, I did a play called The Boys Next Door. I don't know if you've ever heard
I've
of
never heard of
that.
that one now.
Oh, it's a great play. I played a character named Norman Belansky, who was always searching for his keys. It's
Mhm.
such a good play. I did or Medea,
One day,
uh,
yeah.
and I played the husband in that, where
All
my
right.
kids get slaughtered. Um, it was great, and I loved it, and I miss it. I miss it very much. I also did improv too. Um, I miss it very much. So I do feel like part of me wishes I could go back, but part of me also feels so great to be able to like have the opportunity to do YouTube or stream and stuff like that. I feel like it kind of helps me fill that void that was left from
It's the
not being able
best
to
of
do
both
theater.
worlds, I think,
So yeah, so
because you
now
get
I'm
that.
interested in you too and your theater life,
Well,
especially coming from homeschool.
yeah. It so when I was younger, because I was homeschooled, I didn't really do much extracurricular activities besides like there was a couple sports that I used to play. But I loved movies. Like that was my thing. I loved watching movies, and I just watched them all the time. And
Who was your favorite actor?
my favorite
Like,
actor at the time, Josh Hutcherson, because his name was Josh. Bridge to Terabithia and
oh
shit.
my,
Fuck yeah, dude.
he's a
Um,
good actor, but it's so funny.
at that age, because it was like middle school.
Okay,
But
that's interesting. Okay,
I didn't really know like what I wanted to do like when I grew up, because obviously it's that weighing question as you start to get older, as everyone's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I want to try things before I get to high school, so that way I can like figure out what my interests are and blah blah blah. And I tried a bunch of sports, didn't really like click. And my dad was like, you should you should like see if you can like do some acting. And so we went online, tried to find auditions. Nothing was like really showing up in the area that we lived in or like in towns over, because I was gonna like actually audition for like commercials and stuff like that. And nothing was really there. And then my dad's friend's son was a part of community theater in the area that we lived in. And I was like, I don't know what theater is. Like, what is that? And he's like, oh, my dad was like, oh, King and I, Oklahoma, Sound of Music, that kind of theater. I'm like, that's what theater is? Like, I was like, I thought that was just movies with music. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
movies with music. That's great, actually.
And he's like, you should try it. And so I auditioned for Into the Woods.
Oh wow,
And
nice.
I did it, and we had a lot of fun, and I just fucking fell in love with it. And it's funny because at that time I was one of the people who never fucking talked if I met someone new. Like I was shy as fuck, and theater like really brought me out of my shell. But
I think that was the same for me too. I share that sentiment.
yeah,
It was always there for you, I'm sure.
oh
But
yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah.
the
I was
it
I
was
was really
weird. I
outgoing
was
with my
still
family.
shy. I was still shy,
Yeah.
but somehow when I got to theater time or on stage, that kind of like that blanket came off.
So
You know?
you're in like especially now, like we're both extroverted introverts where we're like we need our time for ourselves, but in certain situations if we're comfortable we can be very outgoing.
Yeah, I would
Because
agree.
like that's for me personally, like even now, like I'd rather stay home unless I know who they are that we're gonna go see. Like my wife is at a wedding right now currently, and I was invited as well. It's with all her coworkers, and one of her coworkers is getting married. I said no because that would be the first time I met her coworkers with all of their family at the same time, all at once, with an environment that I'm not familiar with. And I know for a fact that I'd be very uncomfortable the entire time. And they were like completely understanding, and they were like cool with it, and like they understand because they're the same way, and my wife is the same way, but she already knows them because she works with them every day. And I was like, I do want to meet them, but I want it to be like all of us going to dinner somewhere we know. That's how I am, because like otherwise I feel uncomfortable and it's very overwhelming for me. And that's what I think COVID also inflamed that. But now I'd rather just stay home with myself. And that's the beautiful part about streaming, is because I don't get to look at anybody. I just know they're there subconsciously. And so I can be my wacky self because I'm in my own space and doing my own thing, without feeling like I need do you know what I'm saying?
No, I 100% get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was doing theater and stuff, and I've really hooked into that, and that was like my thing. And I went to a magnet school in high school for my junior year. It was going to be my junior senior. I moved to Florida to go to a magnet school for theater because that's what I thought I was going to do as my
That's
career.
so cool that you got to do that.
It was awesome. However, while I was down there, I realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And
What
so
was it that
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 set
like
it
made
off.
yeah that like made you for sure know? You know what?
Dancing,
Maybe really.
dancing, and
Well, was it a
also
magnet school just for like? Okay, there was a magnet school where in my area,
mm,
that I wish I could have gone. And even at the time, my girlfriend at the time went to that magnet school. It was like the one to go to. Now she's at Juilliard, or she went
holy
through
shit.
Juilliard and she graduated. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a really good magnet school.
Damn.
And they did. The reason I'm asking is because they would separate it. You could do acting, you could do music, you could do dance, you could do mime, you could do screenwriting
Yeah.
or playwriting. So
So the place that I went to, it specialized in science and performing arts. So they had like it was a high school, but it was like separated as like a fucking college campus basically. Like we had like
right,
8 minutes in between classes to get places. Like we had a lot of
yeah,
time.
100.
Um
percent
but specifically I went for theater. They had a huge dance program as well. But my strong suits is singing and acting. I'm not good at dancing, and
And
I
those
wanted to go
musicals, man,
into yeah, I
those
wanted to
musicals
go
have those dance numbers. If you're doing Hairspray, you're
exactly,
gonna be out of
exactly. I
breath.
had enough experience and enough rhythm to do the basic stuff, but when it came to like anything other than that, like I was dog shit. So I knew that like if I wanted to go and perform like on Broadway or anything like that, like or even
Oh
off Broadway or
man,
whatnot, like I would have to have that triple threat. Like I would need to be able to dance, and
you could have done it, Josh. You could
I
have done
could
it.
have, but at the time I knew that I wouldn't be as good as other people. So
Have you been to Broadway and seen like a play on Broadway?
I've seen one.
How long ago was it?
It
Was it
was
before or
it was a
after the
couple
magnet
years.
school?
It was the end of high school for me.
And that didn't like fuel the fire. I
It
saw Hamilton
it
just this last December, and I was like, man, I should have never quit theater. I should have stayed in that.
here's the thing. I don't like to live my life with regrets because there's nothing I can do now, and
Right.
also I wouldn't be where here. I wouldn't be talking to you, Jim.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's so true. And this
You
is the
know,
best thing in the
this is
world,
the
right?
best thing
This is
that's
the
ever
real
happened to
reason why
me.
it's the real reason why you skipped the wedding.
Exactly.
Was to stay
Um,
here with Jimbo.
no, but I just realized that it wasn't for me, and I moved back to my parents, and I finished high school at my my original high school, and I opened the juice bar because I wanted to go into business, and yeah, and then that's how it got to here, because I'm still doing things that I want to do. I got to work for myself business wise, and also I get to perform on Twitch, so it's like
I
the
like,
best of both
yeah, I
worlds.
like that you make these decisions for yourself. Like you know what's best, and you stick with it. I like that you never like gave in and did something where you knew you would be unhappy.
Well, I was
That's
like,
really important.
I didn't think it would be a good fit for me. Like, obviously, I just realized that theater was a hobby. Like theater is something that I'll do for fun on my own terms at like community theaters and not as my job. You know, and I'm happy with what I've done. Like, obviously, like I opened that juice bar and it closed after a year, but
But it's
it was
experience,
an
right?
experience. And I
Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want,
you can't
right?
always get what you want. Yep, exactly. But yeah, man, I did a lot of shows though. Like a
What was
lot.
your favorite?
My favorite show, Avenue Q.
Okay.
That one was
Who
my
who
favorite.
who did you play?
Princeton.
Okay.
The
Why
one
why
who
and
has
why was
puppet
it
sex in the middle of the show.
was that why it was your favorite?
What, we had puppet sex?
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to figure out
No,
why you like the play so
I
much.
love the musical a lot. The music is fantastic. Having to do puppetry during the show was really interesting because it's basically like an R-rated Sesame Street. That's basically what Avenue Q is.
Yeah.
Um,
I've
I
seen pictures. I've never seen the actual play.
It's fucking hilarious. It's really funny. It's
Did
a
y'all have
funny
to go
show.
through like training of
Oh yeah, we did training on
doing the
how to do the
puppets and
puppets
everything?
and stuff. Yeah, because you had to inflect the emotion, but also like sing and be normal.
It's
And
kind of a
yeah.
parody, right? of like Sesame Street,
Oh yeah, 100%. They talk about
right?
porn and addiction and crack and all kinds of shit, and it's just like, hi kids, welcome in. It's
Is it
basically,
it's still on Broadway? Is it off Broadway or is it completely done now?
I think it's off Broadway, I think, but they do like off Broadway shows, like the tours and stuff. I think still,
Right. Okay.
but it's really funny. It's a good show.
I need to see it. Never actually seen it.
If you like crude humor, you'd like it. It's one of those types of things. It's like Rick and Morty, basically, like that humor.
Gotcha. Well, I did a quick little look, into it, and it looks like it was off Broadway back in like 2003 and 4.
Oh, it's like, oh wow, it's been a while then.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
I bet you I can find some videos. I want to look into it.
100%. It's really good though. I highly recommend it. Well, Jim, I want to say thank you for coming on the podcast. This was an absolute pleasure, and it was really nice to get to know you a little bit more, a little more personally. And I want to thank you for your time, for coming on and hanging with me. At this point in the podcast, there's a couple things we do. One of them is how do you like them apples? Which is, I want you to give me a fact. A random fact, doesn't have to be astounding or anything. Let me know something that that stuck with you, that you learned when you were a child, that you're just like, this is a random fucking fact that has stuck with me. And I want you to tell the people, what is this fact?
A random God, put me on the spot, Ben Josh.
Could literally be anything, like very minute.
The most random facts I could come up with would be, oh man, did you know? Okay, this is a fact I learned recently from my girlfriend, and that is, did you know that bats are the only mammal that can actually fly?
Huh. I did not know
We learned
that.
this at an aquarium. The aquarium, for whatever reason, had bats.
Oh,
Well,
interesting.
I learned it at an aquarium. I don't know why she knows it.
Interesting.
My girlfriend, she also streams, knows so many random facts about like animals and wildlife and birds and
That's
stuff
awesome.
like that. And we were at an aquarium, and that was the facts. So there you go.
Only
I am
mammal.
recycling her facts.
Well,
that
how
can
do you like them
actually
apples?
Yeah.
Here's my fact. They used to call apples melts in your mouths or winter bananas
Melts in your mouth?
in colonial times. Yeah, they used to call them melt in your mouth.
Yo, I'm
Or
about to
winter
start calling
bananas.
it that too.
You got a melt in the mouth? Yeah.
I'm gonna ask next time I'm at Starbucks, let me get a grande latte and a melt in your mouth, please.
Can I have a melt in the mouth, please? Also, we do a little improv here at the end, so I'm really happy to hear that you are a theater goer and you are a theater participant, because I think this will be perfect for you. We like to talk about sponsors here on the channel. Even though we don't have any, we like to make our own. So I'm going to give you a product, okay? And you have to sell it to me, okay?
Yeah.
As if it is the sponsor of today's episode. But since I am the guest, I will go first. So if you want to give me a product, it can be random. You can give me some parameters, whatever you want. I will pretend it's the sponsor, and then you can go.
Sure. You want the product?
Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah. There's this brand new, it's on Amazon Basics, this automatic plunger.
An automatic plunger? All right, perfect. Everybody, I just wanted to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Auto Plunge. It's on Amazon Basics. You can go on Amazon.com right now and find it. It's only $19.99. It's a great fucking deal. We all know bidets. Everybody. You know, who wants to wipe your own ass? No one likes to put your hand down there unless it's for sexy times. You know what I'm saying? So get a bidet. You know, we all know this. They're automatic. You don't have to get any toilet paper. You save money. Well, guess what? They have a new product out. It's called the Auto Plunge. It's an automatic plunger. You know, if for some reason, even though you're not using toilet paper, you clog the toilet with just a massive shit, we've all taken one, you got Auto Plunge. It's already built into your toilet. It suction cups that sucker right in, pops it out, flushes away all your problems. Look at that, baby. $19.99. Go find it on Amazon Basics and get one for yourself today. Also get a bidet. Save money. Live better. Walmart. So now it's your turn. I want you to the sponsor is a new board game that is played within your own mind. There's no pieces. It's a device you put on your head. It's all virtual. You see it through the device that is attached to your head. But it's
a device attached to your head.
Yes,
is it an actual device? Or?
Yes, you put the device on your head, and I'm not going to tell you what the game entails. But it's 4 players.
Oh my god! All right,
go.
Great. All right, everyone. Today's sponsor is by none other than Black Mirror. There's a brand new game you can get at your local neighborhood Target. The Black Mirror device from the show Black Mirror is a game for up to 1 to 4 players. You just put it right on your temple and boom, you're right in the game. So many things you can do in the game, like live a full life. You can have kids, a family, a job. You can go out to eat with your wife, have issues, get a divorce, move into a single bedroom apartment, and live out the rest of your life while working at a Starbucks again. This is Black Mirror, the brand new board game that actually attaches to your temple lobe. Don't forget to charge it, because if it dies while on your temple lobe, you will be lost forever. Black Mirror, again, at your local neighborhood Target, in the gaming section, right next to the Legos. There we go.
Well done. I thought you were gonna say, if you don't charge it and it dies, you die in real life.
You die as well.
Oh,
I'll take 4.
I'll take 4 of them, please. That's so funny, dude. Congratulations. That was well done. Well done. Thank you so much. So, dude, this is a section where you get to plug yourself, sexually, non-sexually, whatever you prefer. Feel free to share what you got
with the auto plunger.
Yeah. Let the people know what you got going on, where to find you.
Well, first off, thank you so much, Josh. The podcast was a lot of fun. This is the first podcast I've ever been asked to be on. So thank you so much for allowing me to be on your podcast and for such great conversation. I don't have much to plug, guys. You know, my name is Jimfinite and I stream on Twitch. It's Jimfinite on all socials. I upload on YouTube. I have a TikTok, just like everyone else. Would love to meet you if you were listening in here. And thank you so much, Josh. Really, it was a pleasure. I think you're terrific at what you do. You're so passionate. You're so enthusiastic. And I just want to say thank you again so much for allowing me to come on your podcast and hang out.
Dude, anytime. This was an awesome time. I had a great time. Everybody, all of his information is down below. Go check him out. Please do. He's a fantastic streamer, fantastic human being. And dude, thank you again. This was a lot of fun. Everybody, I will see you all on next week's episode. It's a personal episode, and then we'll have a new guest in the following week. Remember to eat your apples, everybody, and stay funky, my dudes. Peace.